and all the above. So make sure you guys check it out. It's on our YouTube page. You went for about 40 minutes, give or take.
I watched that this morning.
So if this is not enough Guardians talk for you the next 10 minutes, then you have an extra 40 minutes on our YouTube page to check out. Zach and Bull is by far the best Guardians podcast in the city, so make sure y'all check it out.
And we'll be on Friday morning to preview their series against either Detroit or Houston. And then they'll play their first game on Saturday. If they play an afternoon game, we'll be on that evening. If they play a night game,
when's
we'll
game
be
2?
on
Monday?
the next morning.
Monday's game 2?
Second game is Monday, yes. So the Guardians don't go on the road till next Wednesday. And in their first round series, they'll have a big advantage of the fact that the only back-to-back games in that series are games 3 and 4. So you could really use the bullpen to the extreme level in that series. They'll play, as I said, either the Tigers or Astros. That series, what time does that game start? 1 o'clock? 2 o'clock?
Today?
You said this weekend on Saturday?
No, today.
That starts today.
The Tigers play the Astros.
They start at 2:30.
2:30
is the first game.
You got all-day games. You got a 4:30 game and a 5:20 game.
Who you want to win?
Well, there's one night game. There's 4 games.
You have 3-day games.
You rather them play the Tigers than the Astros?
I've been going back and forth on this because the Astros are the experienced
I want no parts of the Astros.
Dude, there's not a player on the Guardians that has any fear for the Detroit Tigers.
I don't think the Guardians have fear of either team, honestly, even though the Astros have beaten them. This is not the same Astros team as in the past. Justin Verlander's, I don't even know if he's going to pitch in this series. That they don't have when they beat the Guardians, in 17, 18, like they had Verlander, they had Cole. These guys were in their prime. Like obviously Cole's not there, Verlander's not there. And Alex Bregman's not the player he was. They don't have George Springer anymore. They don't have Carlos Correa anymore. They do have Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, who are really good. And Altuve's still really good. The thing about the Tigers, though, is they're the hottest team in baseball. That's number one. And there's something to be said for that, the momentum.
Right time, they're peaking.
And they've got the best pitcher in baseball in Tarek Skubal.
Who's going today, by the way?
He's going today, which means he will pitch game 2 on Monday next week against the Guardians. And if there is a game 5, because of all the days off, he'll be able to start game 5. So
the 2 starts.
You don't want to be going to a game 5 against Tarek Skubal.
Who's their second best pitcher?
Well, they don't really have one. So
they got rid of the dude that went to the
they traded
Dodgers.
John Flaherty because they were Jack Flaherty because they were selling. They were sellers at the trade deadline. What they've done down the stretch, and this last month they were the best team in baseball. What they did down the stretch is they brought up all these young pitchers who nobody has heard of, even Tiger fans. And Ty Madden, Brant Herter, all these guys, doesn't matter. And they've been using openers for almost every game that Skubal doesn't pitch. And all these guys have pitched well. So there's no big names. There's no clear number 2 starter, but everybody's pitching well for Detroit. It's despite that, in the end, the more I thought about it, I'd still rather play the Tigers. But I would have rather played the Royals or the Orioles than the Tigers or the Astros.
Yeah.
Because the Astros you worried about for experience, and the Tigers being hot and having that great number 1 starter.
I think, Bull, and I know you say there ain't no must win, but guess what? I don't care what nobody says. It's a must win game 1. Guardians cannot lose. Guardians cannot lose at home game 1. And start messing around with Skubal in game 2.
Yeah.
It's
they
done.
need to take
the Tigers still got to beat the Astros before we get to that
but
scenario.
whoever they playing, Guardians got to win the first game.
Very, very important to win that first game, no doubt about it. It's a short series. It's only a 5-game series.
Got to.
But listen, baseball is the hardest sport to predict in the playoffs. It's a complete crapshoot. You could tell me the Guardians are going to lose their first round series in 3 games. I'd say okay, maybe. You can tell me they're going to win the World Series. I'd say okay. I mean, there's no result for the Guardians that would shock me. I do expect them to win in the first round. I think they can go on a run. They have advantages at bullpen, base running, fielding over any other team. They're the best team in baseball in those 3 areas.
But you gotta get on base to base run. That's the scary part for me.
That's fair, but this is a better offensive. Like in 2022. When they made the playoffs, remember they beat Tampa, and then they blew a 2-1 lead to the Yankees and lost in 5. That team had no power, right?
0.
That team was bottom of the barrel in home runs. They got on base, but they had no power. This team has power. They're not elite power team, but they finished 12th to 13th in home runs. Good job, Tyvis.
Thank you.
And so they have some power. That's the big difference between the teams the last 2 years and this year. They can hit some home runs, and they're unlike some of these other teams right now. They're very healthy. Everybody, obviously Bieber's been out the whole year, but outside of that, I mean, the team's completely healthy.
Are you worried about this? We've heard you and Jay talked about Stephen Vogt and how he's made some errors here and there. Are you worried about first-time manager playoffs not pulling the right strings in the playoffs?
Not really. I mean, if you play the Astros, their manager, they have a new manager. It's he's a new manager. It's his first time, and Tigers have A.J. Hinch, who's a veteran manager, but he hasn't been in the playoffs with the Tigers. Stephen Vogt's done a good job, and they're going to have a game plan going in. The front office is going to be involved in that game plan.
That's always funny to say.
That's the way it works.
So hold on, I don't understand.
Yeah.
What do you mean the front office has a game plan?
I mean, they have a game plan in terms of how many times are we going to allow our starting pitcher to face the lineup, right? That's it.
That's a front office thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way baseball has gone. I
didn't
love
know
it.
that either.
But
That's how it works now.
This is
how it works.
No other sports like this.
This is news to me, Tyvis. I never knew that.
So how?
It depends. Not every team does it as strictly as others.
So realistically,
there is some gut involved in these decisions, but there is a game plan going in.
Realistically, how
Yeah.
many innings does a starting pitcher pitch in the playoffs?
I mean, it depends on the pitcher. You look at the Kansas City Royals; the rosters are 26, right? In the last month of the season, they're 28, but now they go back to 26 for the playoff. Most teams in the regular season, when it was 26, almost every team carried 13 pitchers and 13 hitters.
Right.
Very few exceptions. Pretty much every team was 13 and 13. The Royals, for example, their series that starts today against Baltimore, now it's only a 3-game series, so that factors in. They're only using 11 pitchers and 15 hitters. Why? Well, the Royals, more than any other team in the playoffs, rely on their starting pitching. So they're going to go, Cole Reagans is going to start for them today, and then Seth Lugo's going to pitch for them tomorrow. Those guys have pitched as many innings as anybody in baseball. So they'll let those guys go through a lineup 3 times, which means they can get to the 6th, 7th, or if they're pitching really great, even deeper than that. Whereas the Guardians, I'd be shocked, outside of Bybee, if any of their starting pitchers face a lineup more than 2 times. And some of their starters, they're not even going to face them twice. And what I think the Guardians are going to do, and I think it's smart, is they're going to use openers when Bybee's not pitching. So the Guardians have the best bullpen, right? They got 6-7 guys that are dominating in their pen. So if I'm facing the Astros and their best hitters are 1 through 4, well, maybe I'm going to take Tim Herron, for example. Let's say I'm facing a team that has a bunch of left-handed hitters. The Tigers, for example, have a bunch of left-handed hitters at the top of their lineup. Well, maybe I'll pitch Tim Herron in the first inning to get those lefties out. And then as soon as I'm through with those lefties, now I'm going to bring in Gavin Williams or Alex Cobb or whoever, Ben Lively. And now they're starting against the 5-hitter, and now I can have him face 14 batters maybe, instead of, well, I got to get him out before the second time. Or this way he doesn't have to face the top of the lineup twice. He only has to face the top of the lineup once.
I got you.
These are all the little things that these teams are working on.
And you think that's what the Guardians are going to do?
I think they will use an opener. I think there will be games in this playoffs, I think, where the Guardians might just use the bullpen for the whole game. We're going to see it. Look at their rotation. Outside of Bybee, there's a lot of question marks. Williams hasn't pitched well. Cobb hasn't pitched well in these last couple of starts. I'm not Cobb. Boyd.
Yeah.
Cobb has pitched 16 innings all season.
That's crazy.
Now, they're supposedly going to use him. Zach told me today they think he's going to start one of these games. But if he gets into any trouble, I could see a scenario where Alex Cobb allows the bases loaded in the first inning. They take him out in the first inning. Because you can't be patient when it's a 5-game series. It's so weird. Baseball, more than any other sport, right? It's a marathon. The whole season is a marathon. Whereas football is always a sprint. It's always, because every game means everything.
Yeah.
Baseball, regular season, marathon,
You're
playoffs.
saying that every game doesn't matter, Adam?
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm saying you got to pace yourself.
He will always say that. It's meaningless.
Well, no, the NBA.
The first games is meaningless in the MLB.
I don't know. I don't think it's meaningless.
I think that in baseball, every game, obviously it's important because at the end of the year, it comes down to like 2 games sometimes.
I mean, the Diamondbacks lost out of the playoffs for 1 game.
Yeah, I saw that. That's my point. But in the moment, you can't act like it's a football game.
No, you can't manage every game like it's the
right because everyone's got to manage those 162.
Right, but once you get to the playoffs, then it changes.
Right
now, it's a sprint. Now every decision you make could cost you the playoffs.
Are you worried about Vogt, first-time manager?
No, I'm not. I'm not worried about Vogt. Only thing I'm worried about with the Guardians a little bit is a week off. Especially because now they got rained out on Sunday.
Didn't they come out of the All-Star break crappy?
Yep.
Yeah,
They did,
but
yeah.
they had not been playing well before the All-Star break for a couple of weeks.
You know why you shouldn't be worried about that?
What?
Because they got this dude that they better keep in the lineup. He goes by the name of Big Christmas.
I knew you were going to say that.
Is he your X factor? Speaking of which,
Oh, we'll hold that till tomorrow. We got.
we're holding that till tomorrow.
I won't be here.
got 8
I
super
won't be
chats,
here
so-
tomorrow.
Well,
so
let
Tyvis-
Tyvis give his X factor.
it's a blasphemous question. It's Big Christmas. I mean, come on now. Seriously. You're talking about a guy that can completely change the whole outcome of a game with just one moonshot. Boom. Easily. But if I
He's
want
only going to play against lefties.
I know, but to be fair, to be honest,
Yeah.
I actually was going to go with Rocchio. Because he's come through in big moments this season, and what's bigger than the playoffs?
So we're doing this X Factor tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow because
tomorrow.
we
We
got
don't know.
7 super chats, and if we
But
start,
Rocchio was my
hold my thoughts.
honest answer.
By the way, did you